Hey guys, today we're looking at EverQuest 2 by Sony Online Entertainment. EverQuest 2 is a fantasy and true MMORPG, and it has hours and hours and hours of content. The game starts off with 8 character classes to pick from, and you basically have a fighter, priest, mage, and scout, and then there's 2 versions of each. So like your mage will have a warlock or a wizard to play, and like your fighter, a guardian, and berserker. So you do get a couple of options for each main type of class. So it's pretty good. The game does have over 20 some classes to pick from if you were a pay to play, but 8 classes is really pretty decent compared to some games don't even have that. Your characters are not gender locked, so pretty cool. Free to play players can level all the way to 90 to level cap, which is a good feature. Play through 6 expansions. The game has been out for 7 years, so there's a lot to do in this game. You have 4 races to pick from, and even though the character customization isn't that great, it's still pretty good for the game being as dated. As I said, it's like 7 years old. It's still pretty solid. You'll be able to only choose from the neutral factions for the races, which is pretty cool. At least, you're not hated completely, because faction is really a big deal in the game. Because some towns, if you were evil or good, you would be like killed on sight by the other guards. So faction plays a heavy part in EverQuest. It also did in EverQuest 1 also, so you have to earn your reputation with different factions. You have basically some body type to pick from. You can change your size, your hair color, and facial features just a little bit. It's not too detailed, but it's pretty good. There's an AA system. Basically, as you level, some of your experience will go into regular experience, and then the other will go into your alternate advancement. And this is basically your skill tree, and you can customize your character pretty well with this AA system, because you can really stack points. The game has a dungeon finder. After level 20 you can access it. It's got battlegrounds for PvP, which is pretty cool. The character sheet is really solid because it's got a lot of options. There are tons of items, from earrings to charms. As you can see, it's just a lot to get for your character. You have an appearance tab to change your styles. There's mounts to get in the game, and you got mercenaries. With the latest expansion, they've added mercenaries, which will help out. If you're having some trouble, you can just hire one, and if you're a caster and you need like a little tank class to help you out, it's pretty solid. The game does have in-game housing, and all free-to-play players and anyone in the game gets a house right off the bat, and the housing is pretty solid. It's definitely worth checking out. I mean, if you guys are into that. It does have a calendar, an event calendar, which is pretty decent. Your holiday event is coming up now as I'm doing the review. Also, they have a claims window where you basically can get these free items from the game. And it's pretty cool because a lot of these items are really useful. Like one of the items, for example, is a ring you can get, and it actually is almost like having a mount. So you really want to check this stuff out if you just started playing. It's really going to help your leveling. The game does have a dungeon maker feature, and with this feature, pay-to-play players can create dungeons. And a lot of guys are going like this. Star Trek's doing this, or they have did this with their Foundry. So this is pretty cool. They can publish one, but all free-to-play players can actually run these dungeons with their friends. So it's just an extra content module, and some of the guys are, the dungeons are pretty decent. So, and you can rate the dungeons on how fun they were. It's a real nice feature. It does have a guild system, and the game is really got a lot of players and lots of guilds. And you have an option of people are looking for members, so you can hook up. The quest system, the journal here is really decent. It's got your quest text on the right, so you can know what you have to do. And the quest helper, basically in the mini map, it's not an arrow or anything, but whenever there's a quest, it'll glow on your map, the main map and the mini map. So you'll see where you have to go. So it's real easy to find out where you got to do this or that or kill whatever. It's a real solid quest helper. Here's your bag space, and these are the 2 bags that I got at level 20, and you can claim one of these extra bags. So you do have a lot of room, and you don't really need that much. I mean, unless you're really into harvesting or trade skills, which, because the trade skills is really a big part of the game, but 2 bags is pretty decent, and you can always buy more from their marketplace. Here we're checking out the home that you get. This is a really good feature of the game, and they did this very well compared to other games I've played that give you in-game housing. I mean, you can customize this, you know, the items, any item that you get, you can make it huge, small, put it anywhere in the house, basically. I mean, even for their like Christmas and holiday event, they give you a Christmas tree and you can put lights on. As you can see, I'm moving my chandelier here around, so it's pretty solid. You can even get paintings and use these paintings as like teleportation portals to different continents, so that's awesome. Also, you can put up like a board, and it can be an online, like your marketplace, so you can go to your house and use the auction house. That's pretty cool. Here you can see this little globe here, and so the game has teleportation, so you go to different areas and docks and stuff. Instead of taking a boat, you can just port to different continents. So pretty decent. Here's some of the combat on my Berserker, and I found the combat to be really decent. I didn't really get bored of it because just well from playing the Berserker. I mean, they got a bunch of different skills to use, and you can chain the combos together. It makes it it's a pretty pleasant experience. Just the graphics are good enough. I mean, as the game is dated, but the character animations are solid. And they got a pretty good loot system, so I didn't feel like I was grinding at all with the combat system. So the game does have thousands and thousands of quests to do, so there is a ton of content, and over 6 expansions to explore. This game will last you a long time, so it's definitely worth checking out. Here I'm just showing you some of the underwater graphics I had to do since I picked like the new Halus area to start at, so it was pretty decent. The quest line was it wasn't tedious or anything, and it's just the starting area, but the graphics are pretty decent for a game that's been out 7 years. Here I'm taking out a shark, and they do kind of blur it up a little bit. They kind of simulate underwater effects, but the shark does look pretty good. So I think the graphics are pretty well done. And remember, guys, the game is really active. I didn't go into any zone that wasn't, you know, bopping. It was full. There's guilds recruiting all over the place. I even joined one, and there's always a lot of people on. The chat's just spamming. So you do get a free mount after you finish your starter quest, so that's a pretty cool feature. And I just wanted to note that definitely you do get a mount. So here we're looking at the map, and as you enter a new continent or zone, there's like a fog of war where you don't know where the cities are or the places are, which is kind of cool, and it does add an RPG feel to it, which I think is awesome, really well done. And the continents are huge. I mean, it's just the game The game is just so big, and there's just so much to do with the trade skills, and as you can see here, the continents all over the place. And those who are familiar with EverQuest 1 will remember how big the game actually is. And EverQuest 2 does do that also. It is that big, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it'll take a long time to get it all, figured out. Here's this dungeon finder. I did run a random one. I just picked a random one that was kind of highly rated with the dungeon making system, and I'm playing this as free to play, just playing someone's dungeon, and this is a pretty cool feature. And you can log in here with your friends and play, and and have a good time. So it adds extra content for those wanting to do it. So I'm sure there's a lot of dungeons, and as you can see on the mini map, it's got rooms in it, so it's got a little dungeon crawler feel to it, like a D&D. They put bosses in each room or so. So it's really cool feature, and they can get really creative with this system. Well, guys, my take on the EverQuest 2, it's pretty good. I highly recommend it if you are into large fantasy MMORPGs. It's definitely worth taking a look at. The game has a heavy crafting system, so you might want to check it out. Well, if you like my video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys. Alright, later.